China Morning Post. Foxconn has started its customary seasonal employment drive in anticipation of the manufacturing of the iPhone 14. According to the article, Foxconn pays new assembly line employees who remain on the job for more than 4 months after being employed at its facility in Zhengzhou, China, a bonus of $1,300 each year in the months preceding the release of a new iPhone. Foxconn gives comparable bonuses to both new and returning employees. According to a rumor from last week, Apple's suppliers have started sending iPhone 14 parts to companies like Foxconn for final assembly. According to speculations, there will be a 6.1 inches iPhone 14, a 6.7 inches iPhone 14 Max, a 6.1 inches iPhone 14 Pro, and a 6.7 inches iPhone 14 Pro Max when Apple releases its iPhone 14 range as normal in September. Many new features are anticipated for the two Pro versions, while fewer improvements are anticipated for the two more affordable variants. A faster A16 chip, a new pill-shaped cutout and whole housing Face ID sensors in the front camera, an improved 48-megapixel rear camera lens with support for 8K video recording, and an always-on display that shows the time, date, and iOS 16's new lock screen widgets are among the major new features rumored for the iPhone 14 Pro models. Longer battery life, Wi-Fi 6E connectivity, and an enhanced front camera with autofocus might all be improvements in the iPhone 14 series. Dating from the early 2000s and ending about 2010, Apple Inc. was responsible for the manufacturing of the iPhone. In 2007, the very first iPhone was made available. All major markets had new iPhone models available before the end of 2009. It all started with a disagreement between Steve Jobs and his brother-in-law, who worked at Microsoft, and was then persuaded to do so by a French high-level engineer, Jean-Marie Hulot, who worked for Apple France. The iPhone project began in 2004 with a request from CEO Steve Jobs to Apple Inc. hardware engineer Tony Fadell, software developer Scott Forstall, and design engineer Sir Jonathan Ive to work on the highly classified Project Purple. Jobs chose to examine the usage of touchscreen devices and tablet computers while pitting two teams of engineers led by Fadell and Forstall. Jobs ultimately advocated for a touchscreen gadget that many have compared to Apple's prior touchscreen portable device, the Newton Message Pad. The iPhone, like the Message Pad, is almost entirely screen. Apple's chief design officer, Jonathan Ive, is credited with the design. Despite getting several requests for Apple to build another PDA, Jobs voiced his view that tablet PCs and conventional PDAs were not excellent candidates as high-demand areas for Apple to join. After the release of the iPod in 2002, Jobs believed that the overlap of mobile phones and music players would compel Apple to enter the mobile phone sector. He believed that after witnessing millions of Americans carrying different BlackBerries, phones, and Apple's iPod MP3 players, customers would eventually want just one device. Jobs also predicted that when cell phones and mobile gadgets gained more functionality, they would challenge the iPod's supremacy as a music player. To defend the iPod new product line, which at the beginning of 2007 accounted for 48% of all Apple income, Jobs chose to enter the wireless world. So, instead of working on a successor to their Newton PDA at the time, Jobs directed Apple's attention to the iPod. Jobs also directed Apple to create the iTunes program, which is used to sync material with iPod devices. iTunes was launched in January 2001. The iPhone was made feasible by a number of enabling technologies. Lithium-ion batteries that were compact and strong enough to run a mobile computer for an extended period of time. Multi-touch displays. Energy-efficient yet powerful CPUs, such as those based on the ARM architecture. Mobile phone networks and web browsers were among these. In 2005, Apple approached glass producer Corning about developing a thin, flexible, and transparent material that may eliminate the problem of metal keys scratching mobile phone displays. Corning reactivated some old research material that had not yet found a use to create Gorilla Glass. The first Mac, launched in 1984 by an infamous Super Bowl commercial, was the machine that propelled Apple to prominence, and its successors sold 20.6 million units last year, producing $25.5 billion in sales. It was the first computer to be commercially viable with a mouse and a graphical user interface. On the flip side, its global market share among PCs is just around 7.8%, according to IDC industry experts. And Macs are just as vulnerable to the fast movement of computing jobs to mobile devices as any other device. Since Apple benefited from this action by selling iPhones, it's not a significant issue for Cupertino. And, because to the success of Apple phones, Mac has been increasing market share, particularly in the United States. Following the launching of the iPhone, concerns were raised concerning the legality of Apple's agreement. In October 2007, 2 class action lawsuits were filed against the corporation, one in federal court and the other in state court. Apple's exclusive relationship with AT&T, according to the lawsuits, breached antitrust law. The state court petition, filed on behalf of California citizen Timothy P. Smith by the legal firm of Damian R. Fernandez, sought an order prohibiting Apple from selling iPhones with a software lock as well as $200 million in damages. In Smith v. Apple Inc., the plaintiffs claimed that Apple neglected to disclose its 5-year deal with AT&T to buyers when they purchased iPhones with a 2-year contract, citing the Sherman Act's restriction on monopolies. The second case was filed in the Northern District of California of the United States District Court. Paul Homan, the complainant, filed a case against Apple and AT&T Mobility, claiming that he couldn't swap carriers or SIM cards without losing iPhone enhancements to which he was entitled. The defendants also violated the Sherman Act, according to Homan. The action was affirmed for class certification on July 8, 2010. On December 9, the court issued a stay of proceedings until the Supreme Court's ruling in AT&T v. Conception. The Supreme Court found on April 27, 2011, that AT&T fulfilled the state's fairness standards. Apple was sued in 2017 after admitting to slowing down older phone models. Stefan Bogdanovich and Dakota Spies filed the case when their iPhone 6 seconds became sluggish after an upgrade. The plaintiffs were entitled to compensation as a result of the interferences and economic losses they sustained. Apple started working on Project Titan in 2014, with up to 1,000 automobile specialists and engineers creating an electric vehicle in a secret site near the company's Cupertino headquarters. Due to internal friction and leadership concerns, the Apple Car project has shifted and evolved numerous times over the previous several years, although development is still on pace. Despite claims in 2016 that Apple had shelved plans for an automobile, it was back on by 2020. Apple is reportedly said to be developing a completely autonomous self-driving vehicle that will not require driver assistance, going farther than any other automobile maker to date. It's a huge undertaking, and speculations say Apple aims to create a car with no steering wheel and no pedals. Apple's AI and machine learning leader, John Ginandria, is leading the Apple automobile project, while Kevin Lynch, well known for his work on the Apple Watch, has also joined the car team and is mainly responsible for Apple's push toward a self-driving car.